Well, thanks for checking out the latest conversation from OJonesMusicFest, a fandom celebration and production of Oh No He Did Entertainment under the auspices of Cottrell Jones Multimedia. You can find us most everywhere online at OJonesMusicFest, how it sounds, OJonesMusicFest. Highly Googleable. So even if you forget the at, just put that in and you'll find us. Bone Breaker Studios. I'm in here and you're out there. So come on in. Let's have a real conversation, shall we? Now, with whom are we speaking today? I know him
You're
by a whole bunch of many names there. And right now, you guys are gonna know him as Sam Peezy. I'll let him spill beans as to whatever else he wants you to call or wants you to forget about who he was. That's fine. But I usually have a patterned and pre-written intro. If you know somebody for upwards of 30 years, just about, yeah, you don't write stuff down. Uh, to say that I know the part about him that is a wonderful artist, of course, you're going to say I'm biased. So let me stick to what I know. He's an awesome person. And what we celebrate here, among everything else in the fandom celebration that is Old Jones Music Fest, is that we have artists that are dope at what they do, but they're dope at how they do as well, especially how they do their fans. That interaction, that affinity, that energy, that's what we're celebrating. And we're glad to celebrate with producer Apostle Peezy. Sir, how are you today?
I'm doing great today.
Absolutely, Aaron. Stuff you well, you should be. Now, I touched on it a bit, but what I want to get you to touch on a little bit more is the fact that we celebrate artists that can balance being very good, top tier at what they do, but also a love, like you're balancing a love for what you do and for whom you're doing it, like the fans. There, I've seen people at even the lowest indie level for some reason they can't wait to put up that velvet rope and separate themselves as VIPs. Why? I don't know why an artist would do that. I understand if you're like Beyonce, you can't be as close to your fans because it's just a matter of safety and sensibility. But at this stage, why wouldn't you be? So that's a puzzle to me. But let's hit them to some game. How is it that you're able to stay grounded, level headed, and still be a phenomenal, like super Grammy scene artist and stuff? How do you do it?
Um, the easy answer and the short answer is just remember that without the ability given to you by God, you have nothing.
Mm,
So every day I wake up, every day I'm able to make music that's good, that the masses accept or the right people accept. That keeps me grounded. The second, that can be taken away at any time.
mm.
So I remember that every time I make music, every time I'm creative, that can be taken away at any time. So that gives me no right, and I'll use that strong language. That gives me no right to treat someone um, as if they are beneath me.
I like that. And I mean, the thing is, and I'll back up and stuff. It's not a slight on any artist that carries themselves in that manner. Maybe that's a part of their persona. I mean, there are certain wrestlers that say, you know what, get away from me, people. I'm not here for you. I'm here for myself. That
Right,
might be part of your persona. I just
right,
don't think that's a way to live. I think that the art is so personal and it's something that you brought from within yourself to share with the world.
hmm
Why wouldn't you, for as long as you can, embrace the love that people are showing you and show some back? So
right,
that's what I'm celebrating here, and that's why there are some phenomenal artists that I will acquiesce are really good, but they're not a part of this. It's no
right,
slight on me, but these folks that I'm bringing to you guys, folks, they pick up my calls and they've treated me right, and I'm just a fan. I'm that rare breed now. I'm not trying to get on by getting in contact with these people. I'm just
right.
a fan of theirs, and they seem to celebrate my fandom, and I celebrate them. All right, so now this is a real conversation with some real people really doing their thing, and we need more of this. So we'll have some more here. I wanted to get your perspectives on how you think other people would see you. The thing that I love about that movie, The Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
is like when you see them projected, that is a projection of their self-image. So
Right.
that's not just how they appear. Like we appear in the world, we can't see ourselves. They're seeing themselves as though they're playing a game, and that's why they appear the way they do. If you think of how if you could step outside of yourself, like if you could just kind of be a witness in the matrix and you weren't you watch yourself walk into a room. I
Right.
wonder what would be your first impressions, like what would you tell somebody who says, who is that? Who does he think he is? And then what would be the impressions that you'd want to leave? Just a general smattering of who you if you were looking at yourself as a third party.
Well, who am I if I was looking at myself as a third party? Um, I think that most people would see the humble guy. They would see that first. That he walks in the room and he's just one of us, regardless of stature, regardless of accolades. All of that stuff doesn't matter. He walks in, he's one of us. Um, that's what I would think. What I would like to leave is he leaves that he is one of us and he's a cat. And what I mean by that, I'm old school. I turned blessed to turn 50 on yesterday, and
Ooh.
and I was raised up when the cats were the people that everybody were enamored with, and the cats being those people that was so smooth, so humble, they just drew you in from their humility and and their lack of abrasiveness. There was nothing abrasive about them. They were just smooth, and they drew you in, and you just wanted to always be around that person. And that person um, made themselves available to that level. That's what I'd like to think people would see when they see me. There are no kind of piggybacking off of the last thing we talked about. There is no level of celebrity unless God sees some other way. I don't see it though, but there's no level of celebrity to where I want to be where I can't be around my folks.
Mm,
I don't, you know,
yeah,
I've done a lot in my career, a
that's
lot,
right. That's
and
right.
and it's a blessing to still be able to just go to church, go to Walmart, go to
That's right.
wherever, and everybody just see. It ain't even some people hate Peezy. Some folks they really know me. Hey, Aunt. You know, so that's the blessing. So that's what I would hope when people see me. It's like he's dope, but he's one of us. Now I'm dope. That's just the truth. And most people are like, are you arrogant? No, I'm not arrogant because I work to get dope. So I'm dope. I'm a cat, but I'm one of the people. I'm a man of the people.
I like it. I absolutely like it. I think that if people are really honest, hopefully, about who they are and their circle of friends and loved ones, it should be about the same. I mean, even if you go over to your big mama's house, there's a reason you're going. If Big Mama wasn't fun to be around, if she wasn't cooking what she wasn't cooking, if she didn't have those awesome stories, if she didn't have a big pretty yard, and draw other people there, if it wasn't that, you wouldn't be going. So there's a dopeness there, but at the same time, there's a draw. Because if you didn't like being around Big Mama, you wouldn't go as much, no matter how much of a family celebrity she was.
Right.
There's a balance. There's got to be a balance there. I really can't see it any other way. I'm sure that there are people who would um, leverage their celebrity in such a way to say they don't have to be, a dope person.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up being a lonely existence because as soon as you lose that, as you said, and as I agree, that God-given talent, as soon
Mm-hmm.
as that goes away, everything goes away.
Mm-hmm.
The one benefit that I have right now is not even having that level of talent that you and the other folks I'm gonna bring on have. You just around because hopefully I'm good people.
Yeah.
So that won't go away.
No.
I won't that it
No.
wouldn't be taken.
Right. Right.
I That's some real conversation. So, and he's right, folks. He's really doing it. We'll get into that, allowing him to blow his horn a little bit. And if he does it, I'll stomp on the horn and get the rest of the sound out of it and stuff. Because I'm the mascot. I'm really good at banging a drum for somebody else there, especially if I believe in them, and I do. Now, this this evolved individual that you are now, I wonder, because we all change over time. The game, life, it changes you. And
Right.
I wonder if you might share some snapshots along the journey. I wouldn't want to say, Genesis all the way to the end here and stuff, but if we think in terms of there are 3 points in time that I want to kind of focus your next answer on. Can you
Okay.
speak to who you were day one when you were getting started on whatever Sam Peezy would become?
Uh,
Just speak to your day one, then day 1001. That's a little over 3 years in.
okay.
See who you are as a person. And then at the end, like up to last week or yesterday, there's something about the evolution of man or of you as a person that I think the people should be interested in hearing. But speak to your journey in those snapshots.
Okay. On day one, I was the guy who kind of figured that I knew some stuff about what I wanted to do. And I think that guy was 17,
Mm,
and he kind of knew. Um, the irony in that I was called a preacher 17. So in that instance, I had no clue. I was just going off of what I knew. But as far as being a musician, I knew that that was what I wanted to do. Um, and funny, I say 17 because up to that point, I was convinced I'd be an accountant working for the IRS.
mm.
Yeah, that was the thing. The thing was to go to the University of Michigan, get an accounting degree, and retire as an agent for the IRS. That was the goal, or go to law school and follow in the footsteps of my late father. Um, Music wasn't in the plan until 17 hit. Um, and once that hit, the music bug bit, and it's that bite still lingers. So that was that guy. There was no Sam Peasy, no Dick Dastardly, no nobody. It was just Ant wanting to make good music. So I went to college. Day 1001 hits 3 years later. I've met other people who are interested like I am. The Bonebreaker Joneses of the world, the Kenny Smileses, the Bink, the Lyricals, the Brainses, the Hocus Pocuses, the so many. I've met other people, the Kenny Thomases, the Future Prophets, I've met other people, the Jazz Reels. So when Day 1001 hit, I was a guy who very much knew what he wanted to do.
Mm.
And by that point was convinced that I'd be famous doing it.
Okay.
Um, Convinced so much to the point that I never finished college. And the reason I never finished college, I am the college dropout, was because I gave my all to this
Okay.
career, to this guy being this producer, this artist, this writer. Um, and through that journey, there was always from day 1001 to day wherever we are now. Throughout that journey, there were levels of sacrifice. Some of those levels are so deep that I don't speak on them.
Mm.
But the sacrifices were made. Nothing evil. I didn't sacrifice. There was no Illuminati meeting. There was none of that. It was just some really deep sacrifices made. Which bring me to today. So the guy that you see before you today has put in his 10,000 plus hours to master what he does. Um, at the same time, all those things that happened along my journey humbled me. And that's why I can be the master of my craft and remain humble enough to share my craft, to to help others on their journey, which is really important to me. Because what's lacking right now is we got a lot of people who are not reaching back, and the lack of education, better yet, the lack of information is hurting the overall craft, and
Mhm.
I'm against that. I'm heavily against that. We've got to share. So the guy today um, knows exactly who he is and knows exactly what he has to do. And in most instances, he knows exactly how to achieve it. But knowing and executing are two different things. Um, so there's still a lot of trial and error. There's still a lot of bump in my head. But in all, I know where the finish line is, and I'm really determined to get there on just about everything, artistically, creatively, that I lay my hands on. So that's who I am today. Again, the humble guy who recognizes his journey and what his journey made him. Um, I am who I am because of what I've been through.
Mhm.
Period. Period. Every every this close moment made me who I am. I couldn't have. I often go back. My brother Krazy, Big Krazy, often says, "Go back and look at your timeline. Go look at your timeline." He says that a lot. Look at your timeline, and I'll go back and look, and he'll say, "Would you fix that?" And what I've learned on today is most of the time, nope, I wouldn't allow it.
Absolutely.
Allow it, because if I don't allow it, it takes me on a different path, and I probably am the little arrogant guy who won't, who has the velvet rope up, who does this. Don't you know I'm Grammy nominated? You can't talk to me. I would be that guy, but I'm not that guy, and it's because of those experiences that made me the many failures made me who I am, and I'm uber grateful to be who I am today. I love me, and I love me because I love God, and God made me. So it's awesome being Sam Peezy today.
It absolutely is. I tell you, and I want to put a period here because I want to continue this in another segment there. But I will, without stomping on anybody else's ego, let folks know that your ego could be a whole lot more inflated and justifiably so. There are a lot of people who owe, I would say, their livelihoods to whatever fates allowed you to be right here and be humble and let them breathe.
Mm,
Because a foot could be on their necks. There are people who have sat at the master's feet,
mm,
learned, moved on.
mhm,
And I'm not saying they ain't grateful, but your name should be known more out there. But there's also a thing for God time,
mhm,
you know, and God be over all of this. The timing just it is what it is.
mhm,
Your time is coming in whatever mode it's supposed to be in. But there's I can see where your ego could have been pumped up. You could have been on par with those folks, but perhaps this version here, where you like who you are and you have something to share and it's coming from a genuine place,
mhm.
that person wouldn't have existed
He
if it
wouldn't.
had. Yeah, and I think that uh, although I would argue it would be second to the loss of us not having produced Apostle Peezy, instead you being Elliot Ness, that would have been a loss. We need the music. We don't need another treasury agent. Oh yeah, the last thing we needed. However, I think that's the secondary loss. The first big loss would have been if we don't get this version of Sam Peezy to share what he has to share as he is for the rest of the world. You know, there's a realness and a warmth that's going to come from what you have to share artistically, but also life experience and just in general, that dude, that cat, giving it to other people the way it's supposed to be given. I don't know that it can be received, you
Mhm,
know, if you were somebody else. And blessing others, that's, I believe, and I was taught, that's how you know what you do is ordained. If it
mhm.
helps somebody else, you go
That's
help other people real in a real strong way with just how you are.
that's good. That's good.
Absolutely. We just talked about uh him being a real person in this real conversation, really doing his thing at a high level, but also being very approachable with something to share, not just artistically, but as a human to a human. this is a hallowed and God blessed space in God timing. And we really want to celebrate that. The fact, too, that he has that affinity energy that we're looking for, that we're celebrating at OJonesMusicFest. It's about the artists, certainly, but it's about the fans and it's about their interaction all together. That's what we're celebrating. Okay, so then I want to continue here. Now, I want to tell you that, of course, I'm a fan of yours. Not only a fan, but a fanatic. You know that. I've said it a whole lot, and I'm not private about that. Um, I want to talk also about you stepping into your super self. By that, I mean, one of the things that we're here for, and this is on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, is self-actualization. To leave here something greater than what you came as. So then the stuff that's basic, food, clothing, shelter, I think they've added a sense of security. Note that that's a whole other conversation that I'll probably have you back on another talk show about. A sense of security. The thing about safety, that sense of security, they're kind of an illusion. There you could feel secure in your tent. If a lion is coming, that's not safety. So
Right.
but we need, but you could also feel paranoid in a mansion guarded 24/7 by militia. So then what you need, what humans have to feel is secure. But at the top, at the apex, once you get all those basic things taken care of, self-actualization, where you're stepping into your highest form and you're also reaching for higher, that's where you want to live and push the bounds of the rest of your life. And in that way, that super self, that self-actualization, that's a superhero. I see you doing that. I see the artists that I'd be celebrating on this platform doing that. And I want you to know that I'm a fanatic of that superheroism here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, get a sec here. And so then what I want to know is as you're stepping into your super self, I'm betting that you faced some super villains. Imposter syndrome being like one of the big ones is a catchphrase nowadays. Hesitation. If you finally got going and got past a demon like that, having to face the demon of regret for taking so long to get going. Those types of things that I bet you a listener can relate to at this moment. It would be something if you could share how you maybe got past that, how you still fighting those demons today. And here's how I want you to frame it. We talked about you going through your evolution as a day oneer at 17. If you got a chance to go back and talk to that guy, I bet you the rest of us would like to lean in and listen to what you'd have to say. So what advice might you have for us and perhaps a younger, greener you on this journey as you fighting those super villains on your way to superheroism?
Well, the first thing I would say is recognize the enemy. And once the enemy shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. There have been several instances in my musical career where people showed who they were from the jump. And one of the principles that I actually learned from you and from your brother Bonebreaker. I did not attend business school as you guys did, but you both hit me to something that I have adopted and put into practice all the time, and it's called a whiffum. What's in it for me? And when you meet people, have them state immediately their motivation, their motive. Are you here because you're Oscar Jones, you're O Jones, and you're genuinely a fan, and I'm genuinely interested in what you're doing, and this is why I need A, B, C, or D? Or are you here because you're a leech? Or are you here because you genuinely believe and want to go to the next level, and you're trying to go to that next level as well? What happened to me a lot of times is I met people and I was naive, and that's the word I'll use, enough to believe that they believed in my talent. And that's all that mattered.
Mm.
For anybody that's trying to get in the music business, that is rare. It's darn near non-existent for the music people. And what I mean by that, and the music people are disappearing, which is not necessarily a good thing, but the music people will have you believe that they believe in your talent when they actually believe in the bottom line, in the money they can make off of you. Point blank, period. There's nothing else to it. That's all there is. At the bottom line, there's money. The word states the love of money is the root of all evil. It's not money itself. Actually, the same word states that money answers all things. So that would make the Bible contradict itself, which it doesn't. The reason I bring that up is because anytime your artistry has to be compromised, it's most likely, most of the time, 99.9% time, it's because of money.
Mm.
And so I met a lot of those folks along my journey. And each time they showed me that we want you because we think we can make money off of you. And I saw it and I said in response, no, they really believe in me. Yeah, they do. To make money. It's not about the artistry, it's about making money. Therefore, since it's not about the artistry, then you'll do what we think to make the money. That we think what we think can make the money. While you're trying to be artists and have a statement and make something, as you said, that's going to be here long after I'm gone, and have a place in the world and all of those things. While you have that motive, their motive is how can I make the quickest dollar? And if I could go back and talk to Sam in 2000, and I'm gonna bring up 3 points. In 2000, when he got his first quote unquote record deal, record recording contract with 8 Ways Entertainment, which was making beats for 8 Ball and MJG. When he got that one, when he almost signed, and I addressed this on my album that's coming out, with Epic for a $2.5 million publishing deal, valued at $2.5 million. That was 2010. And ironically, a week ago. Those are 3 points in my career where I had to make the choice of does this person believe in me and believe in my art, or are they trying to make a dollar?
Wow.
And I'm just at the point, the deal the ink's not dry on. The reason that deal happened was because I had forged a relationship with the person who did it, and they showed me from day one, I believe in your artistry, and I think we can make money.
Mm.
So I was like, okay, I don't question God's timing anymore, but that took 25 years. It took 25 years to meet that person.
Right.
So that's what I would say at those 3 points in the journey. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. I don't care what medium it happened in. I don't care if they were drunk one night and that drunk man spoke his sober mind. If he did, believe him or her.
Right.
You believe them. That's the problem we have as artists because we're so the real artists on this planet are very sensitive people.
Absolutely.
They're very sensitive people. And we believe. We believe. We believe. Most people will tell you, I don't care what people think. I don't want the accolades. That's the biggest lie from the pit of hell.
Absolutely.
Everybody wants the accolade. Everybody wants an Oscar Jones. Everybody wants a fan.
That's
Now,
right.
you want an Oscar Jones and about 999,999 more of them.
That's right.
So when the person shows you who they are, I don't care if nothing else comes out of my interview today. When the person shows you who they are, believe them.
Most of the things that matter in your life will happen in very small rooms. Some of those rooms you won't be in, but I guarantee, and this is, I'll toot my own horn. If you can get me and about three other me's in the room to speak life to you and speak life in your on your behalf, you all right.
You'll be all right.
That's what I'm
right.
saying. You don't have to go platinum and stuff like that, because ultimately there are platinum artists that when people are making up their lists, they want to be on that list. But they know, themselves know, if they're honest with themselves in those small rooms, that they're not. And those people who are in those rooms with them still love them. But if they're telling them the truth, hey, you made a choice. You made a choice, and you say it. You publicly say it. You don't care about the accolades. It's all about the money. You made the money.
You made the money.
You got the money there. But when we're making those lists, and you're not of the greats in that room, and somebody in Natchez, Mississippi is, it's the one thing that you don't have, and probably I would say you can't buy. You can buy people to say that you are, but you can't buy being it.
No.
Yeah. That's the. Ooh. All right. So now, before I go too far in, I need to point something out to a listener if this recording survives, because I want to ask you, because you are my family, you are my brother. Only thing I can't do is swap organs, and if they come out with strong enough antibiotics, I'll damn sure try. However, here's the thing: you named names. I know you have no fear because of who is with you and who is within you. But, and you gave me permission before, but I want to be sure. Do I need to cut this and start a new recording? Because you name names.
No, but I didn't. But at the same time, when I named the names, again, the person showed me who they were.
This is facts. This is absolute facts.
So that person knows how I feel. Matter of fact, really, to clarify the whole thing, the artists themselves showed the belief in the gift. It really wasn't about, I'm going to make money off you. It was, dang, he's talented. And I think we could make some beautiful music together. The management. It is not even it's just the truth of the matter was the management was like, I'm trying to make money.
Yeah.
And I was the person who was naive enough to go, no, you don't mean that. You really believe in me, don't you? No, I'm trying to make money. You can make us money. You're really good at it, and you're efficient. And in my profession, efficiency is key, especially now. That's 25 years ago. Back. Now it's even more so. So the thing was, hey, he can bang out 10 beats in an hour. Yes, and 10 of them will be usable. Yeah, put him on the team. That's money. But what I didn't see, because I was an artist and had never encountered the music business at that level yet. I hadn't encountered it yet. So when I encountered it, yeah, the phone call that came and said, hey, man, you playing with folks' food. Stop playing. I laughed.
Wow.
Because I had no idea how serious what they meant were, yeah, you really are messing with the food on my table. There are repercussions to that. I had no idea. All I knew was, y'all thought I was dope and making beats. I'm going to get to it. There is no I'm going to get to it when you get to a certain level.
Right.
No, there are deadlines. That deadline has to be met, or, as he said, somebody's going to miss a meal. So that was the thing when I said I named names because I'm not afraid. Number one, there is only one incident in my career I still cannot speak of because of a signed NDA.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I won't mention ever. Well, I've mentioned it in several classes and everything, and everybody was like, "Well, you call names?" Nope. It's similar to the R&B Money podcast. I ain't saying no names. I'm not saying no names. But these people know who they are and what they did.
That's right.
So, but no, there's nothing that needs to be edited at all.
Okay.
It is.
Okay, folks, The reason that I did that demonstratively is because I need for you to know some people will say they stand on business and other people stand on business. If you doing it, you ain't got to say it, but that's all right. I needed to point it out to you so you understood in that moment and we just didn't gloss by.
Right.
Because
Right.
some people don't get hip to game. I'm gonna hip you if I see it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
oblivious sometimes myself. People have to point it out to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me being safe in the counsel of other wise people around me.
Mm-hmm.
I just want you to know that that was huge. So if you listening in and you getting your money's worth, I mean, of course it's free, but still, if you getting your money's worth, you got it out of that moment right there. So those were names to the experience. Their specificity is what we had. I think that I know that I also like that it wasn't an evil that was perpetrated.
Mm-hmm.
A scorpion is a scorpion.
That's right.
A scorpion is not evil. A scorpion is. There's that old joke, sort of an old joke, sort of a Aesop type fable of the frog that was, going back and forth across the river.
Mm-hmm.
Scorpion was on his last leg about to die and said, "Can I hitch a ride?" Hitch a ride on the back of the frog, got halfway over and started stinging the frog. The frog knew that that was a risk and still was like, "I'll give this poor dying fellow animal a ride."
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through, Scorpion sting, sting, sting. The frog looking back like, "You gonna kill us both." Got to the other side, got him off his back and said, "Why did you do that?" "I'm a scorpion." And that's it.
That's it.
Someone who is coming to make money off of you, we can
Mm-hmm.
say evil things. You're a leech. You're a money changer in the temple. We can say all kinds of stuff like that. And they could go, "Yep, yep." But the thing that Peezy just told you, state that.
Mm-hmm.
If you would tell me that you're here for the money, I know how to move accordingly and nobody's violated code.
There we go.
But if you come forth and say, "You know what, golly, if I had a daughter and you weren't already married, I'd marry him off to you," and etc. And you blowing, blowing, blowing all kinds of unnecessary smoke.
Right.
All of a sudden you're unfulfilled because
Right.
you're not getting the purposes that you came with and for. You're not getting that because now he's treating you warm like, "Oh, well, you're interested in me as the human." And you thinking in the back of your head, "When am I going to con him out of these beats?"
Huh.
You ain't got to con him out the beats. You tell him, "I'm here to make money." He will tell you, "This is the money I require from your money making deal.
Mm-hmm.
What are your deadlines? What are your bottom lines?"
Mm-hmm.
It's quid pro quo.
Mm-hmm.
Fair swap ain't no swindle, folks. That's
No.
all. That's all we saying.
No.
All right. I think that dead horse has been beaten. But real conversation with real folks doing real things, folks, and we need more of it. I'm gonna push on with it. Now, I speak of heroes, and you know this. Um, you're my hero, but my mom is top hero number one.
Amen.
And so then what I want to draw from you is some wisdom in the mode that she kind of shared it with me.
Okay.
She had a favorite verse, and I thought it was the whole verse because you know what? I think our first view into heaven and into God is our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the way she told me the verse, I thought that's all it was. But for the sake of this interview, I had to go and do some more research. Turns out there was way more to the verse. But the part that she ruminated on and she drew the most wisdom from, "Be still and know that I am God."
God, yeah.
Psalm 46:10. But she
Yeah.
took the first part of it and she liked to break it down from like the "be still and know that I am God." Be still and know that I am, like I am who sent you. Be
Mm-hmm.
still and know, be still, and then just be.
Be.
Because sometimes all you can do is endure and be in the
Right.
moment and stuff like. There was wisdom in every little tidbit of that saying. There was no fat on
Right.
that portion of
Right.
the verse. Now, I know you to be spiritual through and through. There may be some listeners who are. There may be some listeners who are on a journey to or from. Whatever the mode is, what I want to do is squeeze some wisdom that I know will touch them. Do you have a favorite verse, saying, an experience, a story? If you could share that with the audience.
Well, they're a couple, and I'll sit them down because they're more than a couple
Yeah.
in my life. But the immediate ones, the first one comes from Psalm 37. Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be envious of the wicked, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb. I've had to use that in my life a lot. And basically, what it's saying is when you see folks winning, you know, didn't do the work to win.
Mm.
You know, they cut corners. These are and that's the industry today. Let's just keep it 100. There are people that you know, you're like, man, so and so is so talented. And I've had people come to me, you're so talented. How come you don't have the platform of artist X? And I always remind them of that. It doesn't matter. And even if I never see the grass get cut, it gets cut.
That's right.
Because to be truthful about it, in most of our lives, we won't see the vengeance.
Mm-mm.
We won't see it.
Mm-mm.
We won't see it. And there are a lot of people that are miserable, and they die miserable because of that.
Yes.
Because I know that so and so did this to me, and you're on your deathbed, and they're sitting there, and they just got away with it. Well, number one, which is the second part of my favorite thing, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
That's right.
There is no amount of whooping a human can put on somebody that God can.
That's right.
Like unlike God. And that whooping most of the time ain't physical.
That's right.
It's the worst mental torture that you can deal with. The third part of that, he prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies.
Mm-hmm.
From Psalm 23. Cat Williams said years ago they got popping. If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. I just like to say, if you don't have no haters, there'll be nobody at the table. There'll be no dinner. You can't have a meal without the haters. So they're necessary. They're necessary. And the last one is, he that keepeth Israel neither sleeps nor slumbers. Nothing gets by God. That's really, really simple. But it's so simple it's complex because that's how people behave. People behave as if there are things that they can do and God didn't see it. And in the infinite, God is so big that there's no word for it. Big isn't the word.
That's right.
So whatever that entity is, he never sleeps nor slumbers. So you will never catch him slipping.
That's right.
So that goes back to vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
That's right.
The Apostle Paul tells us to pray for our enemies, for it as if pouring hot coals on their head. I live by that. The people, and I want to define enemy, kind of going back to our last story. When I said I got nothing personal against them, they was doing what they said they was going to do.
That's right.
That person may end up, to your perception, as being, man, that's my villain. You know, not to get too far off, but a lot of times I watch movies, the Marvel movies and the DC and stuff like that.
That's right.
And lately, what I've noticed in these movies is that the villains have very believable stories as to why they are the way they are.
That's right.
If you watch the whole thing with the Avengers and you listen to Thanos long enough, Thanos is one of the most powerful preachers probably in the history of the universe.
Absolutely.
Because there are so many people, you go, well, yeah, he makes plenty of sense. The issue with that normally is there are people that have to suffer
That's right.
to have to make this happen. But that person stated who they were. So when I say my enemies, they're not necessarily villains. They're just people that have different motives, different perspectives on how I see things. And I recognize I am in the remnant of people on this earth. I am, and this is the reason I say I love me. I'm one of the people that's on the straight and narrow. I'm not the one that's on the broad and wide. So I recognize I'm not going to think like most people on this earth. So when those people come and they do what they do, one of the releases I have now, which is why, glory to God, my blood pressure is going down and I'm losing weight and all this. The reason is because that person was just doing what they knew to do.
That's right.
They were doing what they knew to do. So there is no need in me thinking, excuse me, I got to get them. I ain't got to get them. God will.
That's right.
And how God does it will probably be inconceivable to me.
That's right.
It won't look like vengeance to me.
I think what's more is it won't matter. I mean, I think that I'm so glad that you brought up that third little part of where you said prepare us a table in the presence of my enemies. Because it's like it's not like enemy, look at me eat.
No.
It's such that you say, you know what, chill. You can eat. It's that part. Like you get to continue to eat, and then that thing you said with the pouring the hot coals, you praying for somebody who's like, you know what, I'm not gonna get you, but watch your head.
Yeah, watch your head.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, like it ain't me. Don't even worry about me swinging back. Watch your head.
Watch your head.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that because I had a conversation with my wife. We have these conversations daily. And I thank God for that. But one of the things I told her was we had an incident here with the situation that I'm entering into. These people are taking a tour around this country. And the opportunity came up where the tour is headed to my hometown. And it was asked of me, would you recommend person A? And person A has done me wrong. And my answer was, yeah, I recommend them. My answer wasn't no. Because what they did to me, it's gonna come to the town and you're gonna miss out on it. No. The growth part is somebody came to me, recommended it, I gave it to them. What will happen is you just got in your table at the presence of the enemy's moment.
Right.
Because the show is going to become the table. Everybody's going to be talking about the show. And their press is going to come and they're going to say, who's behind this? And that's when you step up and say, I am. And that person is going to have to be reflecting upon what they did to you.
Wow.
Why did he do this for me after what I did to them?
That's right.
There goes the loss of sleep. There go all that, not wishing that on that person, but that's what happens. That's normally the byproduct of that.
That's right.
And at that point, that person's got two choices to make. They can say, "Oh, he ain't really have nothing to do with it. You know, it was us and this," and that's one of them fret not yourself moments. Or they could say, "You know what? I don't know what made you do that, but whatever it is, I know I need it in my life." And because I'm always at the point of evangelism, that's when I can break it down. And I will have won twice because the show will have happened. And second, God will have used me to touch that person to get them back to where they need to be. So they don't do how they did me to anybody else. It's chess, not checkers.
It is. And I think along the way, you'll have people, I'll just refer to them as the ambiguous they, that are seeking to hold you back or that are doing something to you on your journey or something like that. And then you thinking that there'll be some moment where you get past that and you'll be able to stick it to them or something like that.
Right.
I don't think that, first of all, going into something like the arts, if you're going into it to make money, you should go into something that directly makes you money.
Yeah.
Say if you're going into something spiritual, something that is internal to external, something that you're sharing and affecting the world, with like art, that's just like going into medicine because doctors get paid well.
Right.
Wrong silo. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, there's places on Wall Street where there are folks who will kill you for $1, but that's where they exist.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where you should go if that's what your interests are. But if you're trying to be a healer, you should go in for healing. I heard that there are segments of the ministry that are pretty profitable.
There are.
And I won't bite my tongue on that one.
Yeah.
I heard you could turn a pretty good dollar
Yeah, you can.
out the church and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but we've seen the fall of some of those people. And just
Yeah.
some, not
That's
all of them. There are some people who are still up there tossing and turning,
mm-hmm.
like you said, in their beds because they say, how come I haven't gotten it like that?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be their personal hell. But there
Mm-hmm.
are some people who just reap the benefit, got the scorpion sting, and they out of here,
Mm-hmm.
as a result of it. I'm not naming names. It's not even important because
It
I'm
doesn't matter.
busy. It doesn't matter. I'm sitting at the
Yeah.
table that was prepared for me.
There you go.
And I'm eating good.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think that with that right knowledge and wisdom, I hope that, people listening have picked up what you were putting down there because there was plenty. And I mean, at OJonesMusicFest, if you need further breakdown, because we can go for hours, but I'm trying to keep it moving.
All right.
Let's see. At this point of an interview, a lot of times people ask, what's up? I want to kind of switch that and say, what's now? You got things going on, there's something that you probably can't speak on, so don't. But the stuff that you can speak on that you want us to know about, support, patronize, whatever. Give us some insights on that. And then near the end of that, kick your shout outs,
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I've learned also as well. Excuse me, pollen. I've learned also if you say I can't speak on it, then you probably don't need to be involved in it.
Mm,
I learned that because I used to be that guy. So
gotcha.
what's happening with me right now, I can speak on 100%. I'm happy to say that my record company, Peezy Tech Music, has just received this international distribution from a major Virgin Music Group. Virgin is the Christian arm of Universal Music Group. A lot of folks don't know that.
Okay.
So that is how we were able to get the deal. And I'll go ahead and give a shout out. That's a shout out to Vanzell Washington, my new management, Right Way Management, in the groove and in the mix entertainment. I've had a relationship I forward for about 8-9 years. And we just mutually agreed it was time to do this. The reason we did it, the reason we are doing this, and this is an education point to a lot of indies. I'm doing it because majors have access. Somebody asked me, was there some money up front in the deal? No, there was no money. There's no advance. There was no nothing. What there is, though, is access. And there are points of access that now only major labels can achieve. Everybody wants to think, oh, you could do everything yourself now. No, you can't.
Mm.
Well, you know why you can't? Because you physically can't.
Right.
You're one person. It helps to have a team. There's a whole label of folks so that now when I turn in a record, there's this full of people who are going to go do all the work I would have had to do myself. So that's a beautiful thing. The pitching to playlists and the editorials and all that thing. It's the average indie does not have time to apply to them all. The major does. So that's why we did the deal. So that's what's happening now. Peezy Tech Music is being distributed. So the next project out is Medgar Evers' Hope, a story by Anthony Avery. That is a project I have been commissioned by the National Park Service to create. It was supposed to be a song. It was literally supposed to be one song. But if you know me, I don't stop there. It's too much to try to cram into one song about such a great individual. And considering the climate of our country right now, I'm going to tell everything that I can before it is erased, literally, from the books. So this album is a tribute to Medgar Evers. I've got some great people on it, great musicians, great artists. I'm not going to call names right now because there's too many of them and I'll forget, and I don't want to do that. But there are great independent artists I'm working with to make that happen. Some are on my label, some are just affiliates, people that I work with. After that, we will be re-releasing all of Sam Peezy's catalog through Virgin Music Group and Universal Music Group.
Wow.
That's going to be great. So all the old stuff, with the exception of Black Label,
Okay. Okay.
that will be the only thing that I do not release. But everything, the Bougettos, the Peezy Vespers, the Peezy's Way, the Monarchies, all of that is about to be re-released through Virgin Music Group and Universal Music Group, as well as for some of the artists on Peezy Tech. The other guys I'm still negotiating with to see what they want to do with their music. But that's what we got coming. So after Mega Evers, there'll be some new Selah on the way. Selah Avery's on the way.
There you go.
There's a lot of new. So I really that I just said I can't speak on it because I don't know what all coming. But I know there's new music on the way from everybody. But right now, Mega Evers' whole Revolution, that first single, is out May 2nd, 2025. That does feature Anthony Williams, formerly known as Rap God, an incredible artist from Birmingham, Alabama. I've been working with now for over 20 years.
That's right.
And another artist, Jared Burton. If you know this guy, he sings down heaven. He brings heaven down when he sings.
That's right.
He's on this record. It's going to be amazing. That's going to be the beginning of the story that we're telling about Mega Evers, which will be completed on his birthday, July 1, this year, where he would have been 100 years old. On the 100 celebration, we're going to release that entire album. It will be played at the museum and all the national parks across America. So this is a really big deal. We're grateful. So shout out to Keena Graham. She is a proud classmate of C-High, class of 1993. She's been in the park system now for over 30 years. Keena and I have been going to school together since gifted class in 5th grade. We were the ones they took out the class and made us all go. They took us all out the ghetto and put us in one school because y'all are gifted. But Keena was in that class with me. We've been knowing each other that long. Keena's been following my accolades. I've been following her. And she said, hey, I think it would be cool if I can go get this done. So her being who she is in the system made this happen. The government has provided what we need, i.e. funding to make it happen.
That's right.
So, it's going to be a really big deal. We're shooting the video at the home of Mega Evers, which is the museum. We're going to be shooting that video on location in Jackson, Mississippi, in the next couple of weeks to be released as well through Virgin Music Group. So we're really, really, really excited about all that's happening, about representing our catalog. It's the biggest blessing of my career. I can say that, to be able to represent all my music. I always thought it was really good music that me and the Bone Breakers and the Big Crazes and the Selahs and the King Cashes, I thought it was really good music we were putting out. I just didn't really have the platform to present it. Now
Absolutely.
I do. Now I do. And so there will be new music, like I said, from King Cashes, from Big Craze, from Bone Breaker Jones, and myself. And Selah Avery is all on the way, and myself in the moniker under the moniker Miles Anthony Avery, which is the jazz end. We're re-releasing our #1 record that was #1 on iTunes in the year 2000. The record Spring Hope Eternal from the album Nights and Transitions. All that's being re-released. We got Christmas stuff coming out. We got a lot of stuff. So it's just a blessing, a privilege, and an honor to be at this point after 30 years of doing this. It's a blessing to be where we are today. So shout out all the Peezy Tech. Shout out Bone Breaker Jones. Shout out Big Craze. Those are two of the illest MCs to ever touch a microphone.
That's right.
Both of them, I was gonna say, one's my blood brother, one's my brother.
That's right.
It's a privilege to call them brothers. They're unbelievable. They're phenomenal. And now the world shall know this.
That's right.
Shout out King Cashes, who also just happens to be my blood. As my big brother's firstborn son, is my nephew. He is a phenomenal. He's been in the studio since he was 3 years old.
That's right.
So he was right there with his uncle, and it is all spitting out now. He's got new music. And of course, my wife, the lovely, talented, uh, the movie star, Selah Avery, who's dropping new music. And also because of this opportunity, look for us in films. We'll be scoring a lot more films, and we'll be doing a lot more commercials and things of that nature. There is sync opportunity that comes with this deal. So you'll be hearing our music in some TV stuff. So just be prepared to see a whole lot of Peezy Tech. And last but not least, shout out my staff, Steven, say his whole dang name, Gray. And my man, Fly Shy Boyd. They are both my A&Rs. Fly is my senior VP of A&R. They get a lot of work done. And they're also known as Team A&R. They get a lot of work done. And, well, I said that was it. Lastly, to the people who kind of made all this happen to where we are, well, who made this happen, my guy, Emcee N.I.C.E,
Yeah,
uh, world-renowned MC who has been around since forever.
that's right.
And is finally getting his just dessert. And my man, new management, Vonzell Washington, with Right Way Management, Right Way Music Sound Group, who just has been pulling the strings on a lot of things. And speaking of pulling strings, he's pulling strings. Sam Peezy got a seasoning coming to your shelf. It's called OG Seasoning. That's coming. I got my own seasoning, so y'all be prepared. We're getting ready to shoot content, and I'm gonna be in the kitchen. I cook in the kitchen as well in the studio.
That's right.
Y'all look ready to see some OG seasoning coming, hopefully to a shelf near you in the Southeast region soon as we get those out. So when that come out, y'all support your boy. Go buy a bottle of OG seasoning and make it all happen. But of course, to God be all the glory. Without
Amen.
none of this happens. And I just want to say it happened because I started being obedient.
Mm.
Yeah.
Amen to it. Now, I will say that was a lot. People, I don't know if you've been writing, if you're hitting the rewind button on this, whatever you got to do, go ahead. But I'm going to help hook you up with a solid Peezy. If you would, tell them how to keep up with you, get in touch and learn about these moves as they're coming out so that they can support. And if they need to, jump on the bandwagon. We still got room.
All right. Well, everything is at www.peezytechmusic.com.
Spell that for them.
That is PEE, Z as in zebra, Y, TECHMUSIC, spelled properly, .com. PeezyTechMusic.com. All updates are there because there is so much. I don't tell people to go follow me on socials and all that. Go to the website. There you can go from there. That's where everything is. PeezyTechMusic.com.
Sir, I really appreciate you making the time to come here and bless the audience there. And I mean, I think that if they stuck around for the whole thing, even if they just got a piece of it, that little cloth that they get to touch on is a blessing unto itself. I want to thank you on behalf of the listeners now and into the future, because I'm putting this up and I'm leaving it up. There was so much good stuff in here that it needs to be played over and over again. Was dope, don't ever spoil, and this was a dope conversation. It's a real conversation by a real person really doing their thing. That's you. That's Sam Peezy. Y'all go ahead and go to peezytechmusic.com to keep up and stay up. Jump on the bandwagon if you need to. And if you would, do us a solid. Google up or just go to OJones Music Fest, OJonesMusicFest.com, or just put the @ in front, or just Google it and make sure. I will say this: shout out to One Music Fest, but for some reason they putting us on par with One Music Fest. Every time you Google that, they say, "Did you mean One Music Fest?" No, we did not. You meant O Jones Music. Be careful with that. Just OJonesMusicFest.com. Stay up with us. So if you didn't catch it with Peezy, we gonna echo it where we are. Folks, thank you for taking your time out right now and listening to this production, this fandom celebration, brought to you by Oh No He Did ENT, under the auspices of Cottrell Jones Multimedia. And follow us on OJones Music Fest. Look out for the next interview here. And as of 5/23/25, we go live. Thank you. Have a good one.